water for fire protection.
This is domestic and this is fire.
Yes.
Okay,
Because as
potable.
you'll see in the rooms, this is the mechanical fire protection right here. On this side of the wall, there's a wall here, and then this other room. This room's got the domestic.
So we can get a spray paint and paint this one red and this one blue.
If that's
That's not a bad
It's okay.
idea.
Yeah, that's a great idea.
I know the city likes to see the blue on it, but you might want to put like a. You can see it lines up pretty much right.
They pretty much line up.
So just, not that I need to know, but so the fire protection water is a different system, the city system.
They tap off the main,
Right.
but you can't. In case they want to shut your water off because you haven't paid the bill, they cannot shut your fire
Got it.
protection off.
Got it, okay. And obviously, can we get in there, or do we need to chip some cement away?
Yeah, it'll if you hit it
Yeah.
with a hammer.
Okay.
I'll clean it.
It goes down about 70 feet. I think it is.
Yeah,
There are not mop
What's the
sinks
purpose
down
of
there.
that compared to just
So
the
you
regular
need two
hookup
mop
for
sinks and
fire,
two faucets.
for water?
This is your hookup for the fire department.
Uh-huh.
Okay, for the pumper.
Yeah.
This is just basically for the fire pump itself. We flow,
Unless
it's a
Wiki
500
brought 'em out,
GPM
but
pump,
I don't think he
and we
did.
flow every year 500 gallons a minute to make sure that pump
Be
works like
sure
it
it's
should.
working. So this is
Right.
just all.
How secure did that have to be from outside? If
No,
you
we
take the
just-
cap and open it up, will water come out?
I do a lot of stuff in Detroit, and I don't know. They may, after a while, these may end up disappearing. The valves. They may want to put plugs in them. There's a lot of spots you just put a plug on. Keep the valves on the inside, because if we come out to do the pump test after a year, we'll just take the valves from the inside. At least they'll be there, and then put the valves back on to flow the water.
So right now, it's a valve inside where the water is shut off.
That's shut off. That just typically for this.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, a lot of places they just have plugs in them, and then we bring them out because
These
they
things,
may not last.
copper and
Oh,
whatever it is.
I give it 4 months.
And then what is
So
again,
so
what
what's
is-
down there?
What does the
A
fire
valve?
department
square
use
key.
with this?
Okay.
It's a
They
square
use a
key.
T-wrench.
Okay.
The square key.
A square key, and they just go right down. And you can't. It might be hard. It may be underwater, but they feel, and then they can actually shut the water off for the fire protection only.
Okay.
So it's a shut off valve.
The domestic water coming in here.
Okay.
This, once the meter goes in, the city will lock this off. And then here's your shut off.
Okay,
Shut
so-
the building down.
So this is the one, if we have a major water emergency and we want to shut the water off, this is it.
This one, or the one on the other side, right behind you, there's another one.
Okay.
Either one of those two will shut the water off to the building,
The whole
Got it.
building.
the whole building,
Okay.
okay?
Domestic.
So is there
Correct.
two just for redundancy?
One before the meter, one after the meter.
Oh,
So if they ever have to work on the meter, you don't have to drain the whole building
So
down.
where's the meter going?
It goes in between here,
Got it.
right in between these two flanges. Right now, this one's open, so you can have water in the building until the meter goes in.
When's the meter going in? Do we know? Do we get free water for a while?
Doesn't your, once you get your inspection, doesn't that trigger?
No, usually it's gotta be called for. Probably something Dave would call, or,
I thought it was once they got their final, you got your final plumbing. that-
I don't know if it, I don't know.
We'll check with
I don't-
Colonel Jones at the city.
When will
Yeah.
there be water on the third and fourth floor?
There is.
There is now?
Yes, there's water everywhere, and everywhere in the building has water
Okay.
right now. Everything's working, other than some stuff in this wing here.
Okay.
The domestic booster pump
Okay, so this provides water pressure to the building.
it elevates the pressure.
Right.
Up to the building. You shouldn't really ever have to play with any of the controls. If you shut the water off to the building, you want to turn this switch to off so that the pumps aren't running dry.
Okay.
This pump's got to be oil every.
There's
how often?
grease fittings on them.
Uh-huh.
I don't remember what the manufacturer says. There's in here.
When we get a notebook,
Yeah,
all this stuff.
yeah, we'll send you something. For this, all the information is inside here.
Okay.
Anybody have a nickel or a penny? I don't have any change on me.
Yeah,
I can open this up.
Isn't that funny, not a coin upon this?
Oh, a screwdriver.
That'll work.
You got $1.
That tells me something. Nobody has money. We're in the wrong line of work.
Credit card.
Here's all the,
And everything,
here's all the manuals.
and how to take care of it.
Yup.
That's right.
Everything's in there.
And we don't need it with us. There's all right. We maybe put a list in there.
Yeah, I got it.
Every 6 months, every year, where we have to do an annual inspection to check.
Will someone from the city be coming by every now and then to inspect this area, or will they just be reading the meter?
No, they'll have a remote
Oh, that's
reader.
right, they'll just be able
So,
to,
Yeah.
readers.
okay,
Yeah.
so there's no reason for anybody to come in here then,
Key again?
Yeah, from the city.
from the city.
This is all your telecom and security stuff, so that
Oh, is that what that rack is? Okay. Yeah,
And then
it looks like
to
it's
open the
janky.
door, you need to shut the power off, turn the switch to off to get this door open. The door won't open with the switch on.
You gotta be off.
It's gotta be off.
Here's a non-plumber's question. What would be a reason to shut down all the water?
They're really,
What kind of emergency situation would there be if you need to shut down the water?
if something happened in the water main itself,
Break-in and water is shooting all over the hallway or something like that?
yeah, all the risers going up to the units have valves in the hallway. So the risers themselves can be shut off.
So we can isolate it.
independently.
You wouldn't have to shut the whole building down if
Correct.
it's just a break in one floor or something?
Right, if it's, let's say 408 has a leak, you can just shut down 408, 308, 208, and then depending on the first floor, if there's units under that one, there'd be a valve, it'd shut that whole riser down. And there's a separate valve for the kitchen risers and then the bathroom risers. So if you had a problem with the kitchen, you can shut just the
You could
kitchen down
isolate
and
just
then.
in the apartment, would be your first step, if you could do it that way.
Right, and then, so the only reason really to shut the whole building down would be is if it's something in the main itself. And you can shut down, there's 2 valves I'll show you in the hallway right here. There's valves that'll shut down this half of the building and that half of the building independently, right in the hall outside here.
Okay,
Those 2 pumps work at the same time? Or
No.
one works for 1 year and the other one?
It's programmed, and I don't know how it's programmed, they'll switch back and forth.
to give them both longer life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's all, and like I said, I don't know how they were programmed.
Because, I asked because this is basically the same as the heater system on 2 buildings that we have. And what I do it manually. Every year, I turn off one.
One and turn the other one, right.
Next year, I use the other one. Like this, I give it the 30 years of
Yeah.
life.
I'm suspecting that this, they just.
It switches
It
out.
just switches every
Yeah.
time, but.
Yeah,
I don't know that for
it's
sure.
all programmed in here, how it,
It's all computer.
Yeah.
They do it themselves.
yep.
That's great.
Yeah, you'll get the manuals on that.
Yeah. Okay.
I think that's it in
Yeah,
here.
that's it in here.
Got a valve for, there's an outside faucet. Those are trap primers. They go into the ground, they put water into the traps, so the traps don't dry up.
Okay,
And they're right back, you see behind the valve, there's a brass, I think that's a brass fitting. That's the trap primer. It just lets water drip every so often
okay, so the water.
That's water goes where?
into this floor drain.
Into the floor drain?
Yeah.
So your
Any-
new traps don't dry out?
So
All right.
anywhere there's a floor drain,
There will be a.
there'll be a trap primer.
Yeah, and the trap is just you, say you have a water barrier there, so no
Correct.
air.
Great.
Through and shut them off
Mhm.
and open them up just to make sure,
Yeah.
you know, that nothing does happen.
How many outside faucets do we have? Do you know?
There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I think it's 9.
About 9 or 10, okay.
And those
As long as we're
Those
ballpark.
are special keys that you have.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah,
You're
it's,
gonna provide
yes.
those keys? Okay.
So at some.
We'll give you one key.
So, right.
Don't lose it.
When the cold weather starts, you just go around turn
Open
the
it
water
up.
off to the taps, let the taps drain, and then we're done. Okay.
Yeah, that's probably, you know, it'll ensure that if one for some reason does.
Yeah. In the off chance, and it rarely happens, but when it happens, it's a mess.
Right.
So, okay.
Yeah. And you know, most of them are come through in the unit,
Yeah.
so you'll have a unit that's gonna
Yeah.
get flooded, so.
Okay, so we'll, in order to turn them off, we'll have to go to the units.
Well, they're up in the ceiling in the hallway.
Oh, they're in the
valves-
hallway.
Yeah, if we,
Why don't, hey Lester, why I'm thinking, why don't we go from here into the mechanical room?
Okay.
So, 'cause basically, here's your water coming into
Right.
the building, and then it's gonna go into the mechanical room.
Oh, okay.
So
So that riser there is the
This-
main.
That's,
Yeah.
that's, you know, basically just
That's your-
cold water.
Oh, okay.
Domestic-
that's just your cold
So
feeding.
then we'll
Alright.
show you in the mechanical room how it splits.
Go in there.
Look like,
This, the pipe's wrapped in, well, I shouldn't say wrapped in white because they got these wrapped in white. But these gray fittings here,
Right.
those are valves. Those two will shut off the water going to that half of the building.
Okay.
The two right there will shut all the water off going to that half.
Okay. So the red handles.
red
are the
handles,
valves, and
yeah.
if you turn the red handles crosswise, they're off.
Correct.
They're shut.
Yep.
Okay.
So if you had to, you could isolate half the building if there was
Yeah.
a reason,
Yeah.
instead of shutting the whole building
And we
down.
may want to, put a small sticker or something up here somewhere so that we know where to look if we have to.
Something like that, you may not have, remember exactly.
Okay.
Well, we can make also a plan, like a floor plan where it's located.
Okay.
and then also just, so you guys know, there's, obviously there's a number of pipes up there. There's, domestic system, and then there's, some of the geothermal system,
Yeah.
and some of the geothermal, hot and cold water that's going up to the whaling units. The domestic, is always, the main is always closest to the courtyard.
Okay.
So as we, in the
Got it.
north wing, it's,
Right.
you're looking up there.
So it's the inner pipes
The
are the
inner-
domestic
correct,
yeah.
and the outer pipes are the geothermal.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Got it.
Yep. And then there's all through the hallways, and we can look, at some point, we can walk in and look, there's valves that you'll see coming off the top, going into the walls. Those are the riser,
Right.
for the risers. They all have tags on them,
Okay.
with numbers, and then we'll have when we send the book out, in the book, there'll be a chart that tells you the number, what unit it is, if it's hot, cold, so you'll know
Which one is, yeah.
which one's which. The majority of them are right in line with the bathrooms or the kitchens. There's a few that might be off just a little. I know down in that wing, there's where they have the hard lids, where they have the drywalled ceilings. The valve is shifted and it it's shifted down into the drop ceiling.
Okay.
Why don't we go ahead and
Okay.
go into,
Mechanical.
dealing with a number of different systems in here. There's the geothermal in here, and then there's the fire protection riser. So the plumbing, all the entire geothermal will go over later this afternoon. And there's some with the hot water. The hot water, they got a boiler, a natural gas boiler that
So back up.
takes off
The-
the heat.
Yeah,
Go
the domestic hot water gets heated by the geothermal. If the geothermal can't keep up, there's a boiler that'll kick on to keep it up, which is. That's the main pipe coming from the booster pump. Comes in, goes up there and then out to the hall. And then this is your feed for the boiler. Cold water feed.
Okay.
There's the valve to shut it
Okay.
down to the boiler.
Okay. Drains.
There actually, one's an extra opening, just in case the other one, the geothermal guys are gonna use, from what I understand, to tie into their system for a fill. Intake, air intake, and then your exhaust. They go up all the way up through the roof.
Okay, so it sucks air from the roof down.
Pulls the air in
Exhaust.
and exhausts out.
Okay, that's a long way. for
Yeah.
Sucking air in. Okay, where's the gas shut off?
The gas shut off, there's one here, and there's another one here.
See?
That's the regulator, that's that pipe outside that we saw.
So they were copper pipe that you see outside.
Yeah, the relief,
So that's just an overpressure relief.
yeah, it's just a relief on the bigger valves, you can't have them release into
Right.
the space they have to.
So it'll be releasing gas out there.
It could possibly,
Okay.
I don't know if it'll do it very often.
But that's not, it doesn't cycle normally. If that happens, you got problems.
Not necessarily.
Oh.
You could have just, it could call for the gas coming into here.
Okay.
The pressure coming in from the meter is greater than what the boiler can have.
Right. Okay.
So that controls,
What I'm thinking about though is when I'm walking along the sidewalk and I smell gas, how high should my heart rate go?
it should.
Not too high? Okay.
It should. If you
Alright.
smell it in here, then you might want to,
Okay. I
Worry.
don't have to run for cover or anything.
Right.
Okay.
um,
We can set up our smoking station out there.
there you go. There you go. Here's your return pumps for the hot water return.
Okay.
This one does the south wing. This one does the north wing.
Those are constant recircs.
Constant, they constantly
So that-
recirculate.
That's the way you keep hot water in the pipes at all times.
That-
It doesn't overpipe and then cool down.
Correct.
And you don't have to run it for 10 minutes to get.
Yeah, you'd have to run it for,
Yeah.
half an hour to get all the way to the fourth floor at the ends.
Yeah.
If you have to shut the hot water off, you want to shut these off, if you're shutting the hot water down for some
Okay,
reason.
so these are the switches to the
Yeah.
pumps.
This switch
Okay.
is for this
One
pump,
pump.
that switch is for
That
that
is
pump.
one.
Yeah.
Okay.
This is all your settings here. It's set, you shouldn't really have to touch it for any reason. We've got a thermometer up there, it should be right at 120. That's the temperature going out to the building.
Okay, so 120 is the normal hot water setting.
That's, yeah, I've got it set up so you get 120 going out to the building to all the faucets.
What's the minimum? 'Cause I'm thinking
110,
110?
yeah.
So 120 is good.
Yeah, in the barrier-free units, you're at 110. I'll show you underneath the sink, there's a
Okay, because
mixing valve.
what you're doing is you're accounting for some heat loss between here and the,
Well-
They mix it, they temper it too. You can't, at certain valves, you can't get it to go over what.
They're set, all the tub and shower valves are set, they're right about
so
115.
nobody gets cold.
So nobody gets, yeah, I've got those down about 115, 113,
Alright.
right in there.
Okay, okay.
So, got this, there's the tank, which the boiler comes in, you've got valves.
Yeah,
And
so,
then here's-
so you're either getting hot water from the geothermal or from the,
Correct. Here's the geothermal, which will heat the water. If it can't keep up, the boiler will come on.
how many of these tanks do I have?
One.
Oh, so
There's
that's
those are for
something
the geothermal.
else. Got it. Oh, I see. So this is all hot water from
This
the
is
boiler?
all, yes,
Okay,
that's all domestic hot water. Other than that, in here are all the books for the boiler, the pumps. I think there's a couple other, there's the information on the flow valve.
Measurements, things like that. This is tank back from the water, that's part of your.
Yeah, that's the expansion tank. This is a sealed system.
right. So that's
For the
surge-
boiler is sealed, so you need somewhere to expand.
That's a surge tank for the
Expansion.
water hammer and all that other stuff.
The expansion tank for the boiler,
Right.
for the hot water.
Okay.
That wasn't there, this relief valve would constantly be dumping water.
And we'd have water everywhere.
Right.
Yeah.
Condensate, in the book, and I don't remember offhand, in the book, it'll tell you, you probably have to replace that at certain intervals. It's just hose clamps, pops out.
Does the, similar question in the water company, does the gas company ever have to come in here and do anything?
Nope, they should never have to come in here, the gas meter's out back,
Okay.
so they should never have to come in here. Shut off valves on both sides of the pumps. Good.
All right, good. The hot water that comes from geothermal, I know that's not your bag, but is that dirty water or is that clean water?
It's considered dirty water.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah,
Okay.
because it just circulates the system, you're not,
Got it.
that's
So
gonna be,
it's a closed loop system.
closed loop system.
Okay.
Right.
So that, those bleeders, they gotta be changed, they be plugged, look like dirty water.
We're getting geothermal this afternoon.
Yeah, that'd be a geothermal, we'll let them answer that.
Alright.
Yeah, so really, 90% of the piping in here is.
Cool. All right, what else about plumbing do we need to know?
Right under where the fire protection comes in, there's, I think it's 6 trap primers.
Okay.
You can't get that way, but they're down, you can see the blue, I don't know if you can see it from here, the blue pipe coming down.
Yeah,
There's brass fittings,
I see it. So all those blue pipes are the primer.
the trap
Trap
primers,
primers.
there's the floor drains in here.
Okay.
Um,
Floor drain, and this is just for cleaning.
This
out.
is a clean out of sewer for the main sewer. Those, they're everywhere.
Is there one in our office?
Yeah, nobody's got a chrome cover yet,
It did.
but, okay.
It did.
We've got, all of them have chrome covers. There's a couple in here, there's some in those offices down there.
Okay, that'll be good enough.
I didn't know I was getting filmed today.
Yeah, you're the star. You should have won.
We've got,
Excuse me.
oop. Got regulators for all the dryers.
Okay. All gas dryers, obviously.
All gas, yeah.
Okay.
And then there are 2 on that wall.
2 on this wall, these are stackables, and these are for 88.
Okay.
Up in the ceiling, there's, let me take for a minute. I know in here, you've got those grills up in the ceiling.
Yeah.
You look right there. Those are the vents, the Studer vents for these laundries. There's another one up there. Just behind the grill, it's a fitting, an air remittance valve to get air into these.
Okay, so it actually forces air into the.
When they're dumping water and it wants air, it pulls it open,
Right.
brings air in. When it's not calling for air, it shuts.
Okay, cool.
They'll be in here.
1, 2, 3.
There's more over here.
Oh, and more over
It's 4 or 5 on this side and 1 on that side.
Okay.
Basically like a stink vent.
Instead of vent going all the way through the
Through
roof.
the roof, like you used to, it's
Right.
sort of accomplish the same purpose.
Okay.
So it just makes it so that when it's draining, it doesn't make that sound.
There's some in the men's bathroom, up in the ceiling. I think it's 2 in there, 2 or 3 in there, I don't remember offhand. And then at the top, above the 4th floor mop sinks, in where the mop sinks are in the north wing and the
So
south wing.
those draw air in.
Yes,
Okay.
there'll be 1 for each riser on the mop sinks. And I think those are the only places we have them. I don't think there's any other ones.
Okay.
Just real quick before we leave this room.
There-
And,
yeah.
remember the system I was telling you about, the subsoil ventilation system? You have these, basically, these are stacks that go all the way that help the subsoil area breathe.
Yep.
And they have these valves, these are areas that when they have to come do that test, if they ever need to test here, this is their
They'll come in
testing
here.
point that they can shut
Okay.
that off.
How many of these sites are in the building?
There's one in north,
One in the north wing.
one in the commercial area. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's in the commercial. And this one, I thought there was another one
Okay, so that's 1, 2, 3.
Three.
There, what
I'm
there'll
just-
be, oh, there's one down the hall here, in one of the offices.
Okay, so about 4 of them.
Yeah, I think it's, I can check and see.
All about this height?
Yeah, what there'll be is there'll be an access panel.
Yeah.
They're all that size access panels
Okay.
in wherever those valves are.
Yeah.
Again, that's typically nothing that you guys need to ever worry
Yeah,
about,
right.
it's more for when they.
But it's kind of nice to know what
what
everything
it
is.
Yes.
Yeah. What do we got going here?
Nice to know when they get the
That's
washing.
part of the
machine in, too.
HVAC, so.
Oh, that's it,
it'll Suck air in, but instead
This
of,
is the air
it
return?
draws in some air from the corridor.
Yeah,
but
150
instead of
people,
having it
it's,
going straight through, and making it roll.
what is it,
or
7
getting noise
machines
from the
there,
laundry
6?
in the corridor.
Right.
They
Oh, okay, so it kind of goes
like that.
washer and dryer.
Yeah, and it's got the insulation, the sound.
Okay, cool.
That absorbs
5
sound,
vents.
so it won't be as noisy.
Will there be any filters in there? Air filters?
I don't believe so.
Okay.
Put a dryer.
Okay.
And then it jumps.
That's the gas main, you
Gas
say?
main, yeah, that's feeding, goes to feed the boiler
The boiler, then
and the
laundry.
washer, or the dryers.
Okay.
And then the only other thing on that gas line is your generator.
Oh,
Which
And
is
that's-
tied in outside.
Yeah.
Goes
And
underground.
that's-
It runs down this drop here.
okay.
It's right above this drop. Right down.
Back real quick.
What do you mean? I buy you guys along, no problem.
Okay, so just, it goes through the courtyard
Yeah.
here and then through the parking lot.
Yeah. And then, you got part of it's going back into the building, right?
From the table.
Up to, Lester showed
Yeah.
you where that's up in the
Right.
soffit, and then the other half is going down.
To the generator. Yeah, you
Okay.
got a valve there for
All
the
right.
generator, and there's also a valve inside the generator to shut the gas off.
Okay.
And then there's extra in the mechanical room, I should have showed you, but there's a black pipe coming out of the ceiling. It's about this long with a cap on it. That's just an extra gas opening, just in case.
In this case, sometime in the future, we want to install something.
Right, and there's also one in the hallway when it comes down this drop,
Uh-huh.
and it turns that way. There's a T with a cap over here.
Okay.
And then I think they've also got one going down that way, just a cap.
Very
So
good
there's,
idea.
just in case down the road, you're not trying to tear into it. And
So,
Hey, boss,
we should put
you're
a
not
security
sloughed off here,
lock
are
in
you?
here?
well, no,
Those
because
red security locks.
well,
Not locking,
that's-
you
the
know,
problem is if the gas company comes out, they might not be happy with that, you know. I don't know that, can't imagine anybody playing it. It's not something you can turn with your hands. You need a wrench.
That's the backup
So-
generator for the whole building then, right?
It's just because it's faced this way.
Yeah, I don't.
Anybody have a
Backs up your pump. Yeah, it's, I don't know what the
Because I
gas
know when
company
they
would think
tested
about
that,
that
they wanted to make sure that they
Yeah, that would be
that
the
all
only-
was fine.
issue, or if it had to be shut off real quick for some reason. Then you gotta go find a key and.
No, those security locks, they don't have, it's like,
Right, well then you get, yeah, I mean, you just gotta know the combinations. If somebody's here and they don't know the combination for some reason,
Okay, why don't we got 15 minutes, so why don't we go look at whatever we have to look
Okay.
at, and then let's, because at 10, I promised the guy, the key card guy. Okay.
here's the hot and cold domestic.
Right.
If you look, you've got red and blue pipes coming off.
Okay,
Here, so there's red, blue, and white.
okay,
The whites are gonna be the outside faucets.
okay.
There'll be valves. You can see there's a tag up there and a valve.
I see it.
That would be the silcock that's just outside here.
Okay.
Pretty much, yeah, pretty much they'll line up pretty close.
Yeah.
So if you're outside and you see a problem,
Can you get to that, Alberto?
yeah, well.
it might be a little tight for him. I can get up in there, it's a little tight. He might have to go on a diet.
I'll put Alberto on a diet.
Put him on a diet, there you go. So, and they're, like I said, they're pretty much lined up with the bathroom in the unit, the
Okay.
kitchen in the unit.
So let's see, there's 15 units on this hall, so there'll be 15 sets of those. the hot and cold.
Correct.
And the other main halls on the other, they'll be going all
The
over.
other one's a little different because you have, all the valves are gonna be inside the retail space for the units up above, and then there's no valves over the trash room.
Right,
So the units that are over the trash room, those valves are actually in that retail space or whatever it's gonna be.
okay. We'll figure that out later.
And then,
As long as we know where to look.
yeah,
Yeah, and that'll all be soft ceiling.
Right.
Ceiling.
Okay,
okay. Cool. Just to give you an idea, and then maybe you
And then go up to 3.
go up to 3, yeah.
how many floors are there?
Hallway.
Just this hallway?
Just
All the way, the third floor.
Okay,
All
got
the
it.
way around the third floor.
Not the
Hot
second
water
or the fourth,
return
Not
just
just-
the third.
The third floor is where all the hot water return lines are.
Okay.
Up in here, oh, maybe I can. It'll probably be. Let me see where I'm at here. Here's the bathroom, so it's probably gonna be right about here.
Okay.
You're on collar.
Which one is done with this one?
It doesn't matter, that's good.
Okay.
You've got, it's a red line, and then you've got, going into every unit, there's that circuit setter, which is a valve.
Okay.
You can see that handle, that valve there. There'll be one going this way, one going that way, each bathroom, and then the kitchens.
Okay.
So in this, the shut-off valve that you was talking about?
Yeah.
Is in case anything happened there?
If-
And I don't have to shut off, or I can shut off in the bottom, but if
You,
anything
both of
happens?
them. You have to shut them both off. If you have a problem, let's say a hot water line comes loose or whatever, well, you've got stops under all the sinks, which I'll show you in a minute, but let's say something happens on this riser, on the hot. You have to shut it off on the first floor, and then come up here and turn this off. What'll happen is if you shut it off on the first floor, this is still gonna push water through there.
Right, so think of
So-
it, you know, you got
It's a
basically a
loop.
loop on the, that goes from the first floor and then up to the third floor.
Right.
And you got all these risers connected between those two loops
Right.
that, you know, if you,
Yeah.
Yeah.
you gotta
This
shut
is-
the top
with
and the
the-
bottom of the riser off to shut the entire riser.
This is pulling the water back
Yeah.
down to the mechanical room into those pumps and pushing it back into the feed to get heated again.
Okay.
Um,
So if something happens on the fourth floor,
you shut
we
this off
we would have to
too.
run to the third floor to shut it off.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, and,
First and third,
yeah, on
First
any
and
floor.
right? Because it's
Got-
all
got
on
it.
that
Fir-
same
Why
riser.
would you have to shut it off on the first floor if it's
That's
just a
your
problem?
main
on
Well,
water
if your
feed.
problem is on the first floor, you go to the first or second floor, you go there.
If
Yeah,
it's,
No.
If it's
But I
third-
mean,
if
if
it's-
it's just third or fourth floor.
Any,
this would be
And
something that's
you just-
feeding, like, it's, say it's not the problem with the sink, because you know, you got the shut off.
You gotta shut it there.
if it's something on
But
the
it's something
riser
in
in the
the
wall,
Yeah.
where you need to shut the water down to the riser.
Does your book have a diagram where we
feed.
can follow the loop?
I don't know if it does or not.
Okay.
They should have had as-built, and
Okay.
they probably do.
Yeah, I wasn't here for that part
All right.
of the, but your main feed is coming from the first floor up.
Right.
And then this line is pulling the hot water back and dumping it back into the mechanical room to be, so you have a constant hot water.
So you shoot it from the first floor and return it to the third floor?
Return
back
it from
to
the third floor, yeah,
Okay.
Oh, okay, I see. So the first floor is where the goes-ins
correct.
is,
And this is where
the
it comes out.
goes-outs.
Yeah, so if you ever
Gotcha.
have to work on a
Let's put it in
riser,
simple terms.
yeah, if you ever have to work on a riser, you have to shut the first floor off and shut this off.
Got it.
If you can remember, these are all adjusted, so you get hot water at all the sinks within a reasonable amount of time.
So however you close it, exactly open it up.
Correct.
I got you.
Yep. And there's set screws on them. I did not tighten any of the set screws. So if there's an emergency, you don't have to worry about finding a screwdriver, trying to get up there to get it, you just close it.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, it's nice because it has
It says
the
open and
temperature,
closed.
how much, yeah,
Well, that's
you
the
got
flow.
on it, yeah.
That'd be a
How much
flow
water
through the
pressure you
valve.
got inside.
Yeah.
So it's
So-
kind of nice. Just remember.
And if you ever
it's in
forgot,
20, just put them in 20 again.
yeah.
Yeah.
If you ever forgot, I kind of know where they are.
We'll call you.
I'm sure you will. Let me change my phone number. So, and those are all the way down the halls at every unit, the mop sinks, have them.
Only on the third floor.
All the return lines are on the third floor. You'll find that in these, like right here in this lobby area,
And the other side too?
and on the other side in the common area, the valve is back in the drop ceiling.
Okay.
And it'll feed through into those units.
Clear enough.
There's a couple spots down these hallways, just so you know. This one's down here.
Your department, fire.
Thinking about the car key. We can put the number on the apartment on the back with permanent marker.
Yeah.
Nobody knows what it is.
These access panels, there's 3 here.
For the 3 units?
There's 3 in the other wing.
Okay, these get us to what we just looked at.
Correct.
Got
In these, there's the 3 here, the 3 in the other
Now I
wing.
see what you're talking about.
And then there's 2, I think it's 2 in the center hallway, in about the middle. There'll be 2
But
of
if we
these.
see something looks like this, that's all it can be.
Correct.
Okay.
As far as I know, there's no other, we have no other access panels other than the ones on the first floor for the vents for the radon vents. These would be the only access panels we have. I don't know if anybody else has any access panels or not anywhere around. I don't think so.
Okay.
So.
Cool.
Okay. Clear enough.
Clear enough to me.
Who's gonna show what on the apartments, inside the apartments?
Why don't you guys
I don't know what it
press
was.
on without me, because I need to go down and see the card reader guy, or the key door, whoever it is. Okay. Hey, thanks a lot, fellas.
Ed and
And if we
then,
can get if you guys can give your contact cards to Alberto, that'd be great.
Ed and then we're supposed to be downstairs.
Okay.
For 10
Well,
to 12.
I'll get started, then
Yeah.
we'll backfill you.
Okay,
Okay.
thanks.
You want to go into it?
My cell's always on. Apartment and,
Great.
Or you want to go into a barrier-free, so
Yeah.
it's got the mixing valves in it.
Yeah.
It's basically the same, other than
Yeah.
the mixing valve.
Yeah.
Caps are in the sink. I don't know where
I know what you're talking about.
the rent, yeah, there it is, okay.
We're gonna come in anyway in all these units because we collect all this
All
information.
in, okay.
And what we do is, in each of these papers, for example, let me see. Page is missing right here. It's all model number and serial number. We put the apartment number on it and then we just keep this in case we need some parts. We don't have to come straight to the apartment, we just
Right.
buy the part from the model and serial number on it.
Yeah.
And the paperwork.
One of these is for the disposal and one is for the light.
This one's gonna be the light. What a guess. Only because I turned the disposal on in here and I remembered it was this one. Basically, pretty easy. You've got the mixing valve right here.
Uh-huh.
There's this Allen head screw right here.
Uh-huh.
Loosen it up.
Uh-huh.
This handle will slide out a little,
Okay.
and then you can adjust it, turn it forward or back to make it hotter or colder.
Under a coder, okay.
They're all, like I said, they're all set pretty much right at 110. And then you've got the
Available.
valves on the water supply itself.
On the bottom in here is a red button for reset. A
Yeah.
lot of tenants don't know this. There's a red button here that you press. Sometimes they call for emergency, not working, and this little button that you just push.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's, the non-technical folks, like myself, I say, did you try pushing the red
Right.
button for reset?
Yeah, and if it jams for some reason, if they get something in there and it jams it,
Yeah.
this key right in the center underneath
Will
here,
Open it up and allow you to
this key
remove
fits
stuff.
up in there
And you turn it.
and you just rotate it
Yeah.
back and
Okay.
forth. You know, once it frees it up, then you have to hit the reset button
Okay,
and then should work again.
okay.
Another common thing to ask tenants if, especially if they keep a lot of stuff in their thing, and they say their garbage disposal isn't working, ask them have they made sure that it's plugged in. Sometimes the plug will come out of the wall.
Something that basic, huh?
These,
No bones
I
on
think
it.
we've got these
And the
pretty much
plug is-
tied up.
No
I
bones.
can't even
Plugs
see where the
behind
plug
here,
is.
it's way up high.
Oh.
I throw my change on the counter, you
So,
know, get a penny
plug
stuck in
in.
there, that's a mess.
It's up behind the
I get
disposal.
My wife opens up
I see
the
it.
junk drawer and everything just
Yep.
goes right in there.
I got,
I used to
I'm
have
in
it
problems
easy,
like that, I've been
so,
solved.
There's a
first,
penny stuck in there, it's
Yeah,
tough.
penny,
Okay.
penny, or a screw, or,
Yeah.
you know, anything could.
could
Right.
jam it
Yeah.
up.
Yeah.
I got a big long plier, and you don't know pliers that.
Yeah.
Especially
that
if
you can-
people let their stick pile up with
Yeah.
crap, you know.
I usually put my hand down in there and
Yes.
hope nobody turns the switch on.
Yeah, scares the shit out of you.
They're nice, man.
And here's same thing, the
Okay,
sink
that's nice, huh?
with the mixing valve. This one you can see a little better.
Did they do it basically, you go carpet?
Here's your mixing valve. And then this is the handle to adjust it. There's a set screw. It's an Allen head screw.
Same model of that one.
Same, yes, they are all the same.
To give you more hot.
To make it
water.
hotter or colder, they're all
Right now-
adjusted.
Right now is a code that you already put.
Yes, they're all set where they should be. Nobody should be playing with them. Leave them alone, Alberto.
No, you know why I ask, because
You wanna-
sometimes the tenants come and say, well, it's hot, but it's not hotter.
Yeah.
I want it,
Hotter.
yeah, hotter. And we really don't wanna do that.
Right,
And well, sometimes property managers say, well, they need more hot water. Well, we don't wanna put more hot water, they're gonna burn themselves.
right,
But we're just trying to do the best we can.
right. These are all at 110.
Mm-hmm.
All the
110
barrier-free
degrees.
units are 110. Like I said, this other units are between 110 and 115.
Wow. Wow. And this water, hot and cold, come from those tanks that was downstairs?
Correct, the one tank is the hot water.
And that's
Heating up.
heat up from underground?
It's got,
Yeah, thermal.
it heats up to, and then it's got,
Thermal plus the backup.
plus the, yeah,
The boiler
peak,
backup.
boiler backup.
Wow.
Yep.
That's a good saving in there.
Is there a kitchen in
Good idea.
here? Is there a kitchen in here? How are these people gonna eat? Oh, so they're not gonna be, everybody's gonna be self-sufficient then?
Yes,
It is hot.
It's supposed to be hot water.
Just open it up.
because you
Yeah,
got the
it's supposed to be,
research.
that's the recirculating pumps.
It's always. running
And
through
all
the-
these valves in the hallway.
You know how nice this is?
How
You know what?
good is
Yeah,
that
yeah.
compared to regular, I've just heard that, I mean, people have gotten them in on their homes, what's good about it?
You get, instead of standing there, if you turn your water on in your house and you wait 2 minutes to get hot water,
That's how much water you're throwing out.
you're, right, that and just standing there being aggravated waiting for hot
So like the little
water.
toilets that only have so much water that goes down.
It's a water
Save
system
water.
thing.
Yeah, so on this, you turn it on and like in here, it's pretty much instant, 5 seconds.
Wow, okay.
And that's why all those valves are in the hallway, so we could get every riser to get water pretty much instantly.
It's good.
Kind of amazing
Very
to have a brand new home. Not too many people have that.
I know, I stand there for a while, but I live in Marysville, nobody has water meters in the whole area, and all the homes in Marysville, nobody has a water meter. We have a flat rate for water, and so
Oh.
it's $212 every 6 months.
Ah.
Can't
So,
beat that.
This faucet,
Yes.
it has the shut-off valve inside?
This one, I don't know. All the barrier-free units,
Uh-huh.
these tubs came from the manufacturer
If we have a
with the
microwave
valves
in
on
each
them,
room,
all the grab bars mounted on them, everything. All we did was slide them in and hook 2 water lines to that valve.
Well,
Okay. But then
The ones in the standard units all have the shutoffs behind the plates.
Stick a
It's
This
because-
one, I haven't had a plate off of one of these, so I'm not 100% sure. I'm thinking that they do.
For some people.
It's because the cartridge that goes
Right.
in here,
Yes.
we change it every 2 years, every year. It depends how much water they use.
Right. And these cartridges in the barrier freeze are different than the standard units. These are the Delta 1700 series.
So it's much stronger then.
It's a fancy you've got. If you look, you've got this handle turns the water on and off. This adjusts the temperature.
It's good.
The other ones, in all the other units are the standard Delta 1300 series, you know, just the one handle on and off.
Is this standard in each bathroom with that, that
The
flip down?
barrier-free
seating?
only.
This is barrier-free.
There's, if
With
I
the-
read five,
the exterior.
there's four barrier-free units on every floor, and then there's a visually
Audio and visually impaired.
impaired
Oh, okay.
unit, which that unit has everything in it, just like this, except for the tub. The tub is a standard, would be like the standard units. That one doesn't have all this, only the four, which would be this one, the one across the hall, and then the first two coming up the stairwell or off the elevator.
But they'd all have the
The
barrier-free ones would all
Correct,
have
have-
that
yes.
seat that comes down, because
Yes.
that would make a difference for somebody who's very weak in their
Yes.
legs.
That, board.
Say they're in a wheelchair, they'd have to
That's,
still.
that's, waterproof?
as far as you know.
It should. Okay. No, it's because,
Yeah,
you know,
it's,
express board and.
right. That's, you know, right from, like I said, these tubs were right from the
Oh, they came
manufacturer.
out like that,
All
it's
came
not-
together, we
Right.
just put them in and hooked two water lines in the drain and off you go.
Okay, and nice to have those kinds of things too, because there's
Yes.
some people want to sit.
Right.
Some of them may have to have, well, when they're sitting in this, they can wash themselves from seated position that way.
Right.
Right.
It's good like that, huh?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I don't know where all the
With plenty of the grab bars.
Just something to know, to tell the
Worked with
tenants,
senior citizen programs
their
for about
toilet
5 years or so
keeps
there's
running
a
and
lot
it's clogged
of
up.
things that.
'Cause remember, there's been
between
some
seniors
incidents where
and
they-
persons with disabilities.
Just to point out that they
Similar
can shut off the
problems.
water to the toilet by that.
It's because 90 plus, what people does is this, they sit and they do this.
You know, it's gonna be.
Right, leaning on the
it's
tank,
gonna be
yeah,
natural.
And then what
it's-
happened is, this gasket that is right on the bottom, it moved, and the screws inside is a gasket
Yeah.
inside the tank. Well, it started going up and down, and the water started leaking through the back. That's all the problem that we have, but it's because the tenant creating, you know, they think it is a chair.
It's not a recliner.
Yeah, it's not a.
You're not supposed to recline and read the paper, yeah.
You're supposed to do this.
You can read the paper, but you gotta sit right.
Oh, gosh. All conversation where end, eh?
The leads for the irrigation system are in,
In the trash room on this wing, comes down, there's a backflow preventer, and then it heads out for the lawn sprinkler.
What trash room? I saw
This
this
is
one
north.
that is down.
There's
the
one in
other
this
side.
corner.
Is the other one on this side?
Yeah, and then one in that.
On the first floor?
You got two trash rooms, one for the north wing, one for the
Okay.
south wing. And this one,
The sprinkler system from outside is
For the-
down there?
yeah.
Correct.
Okay, okay. And how many songs we have?
That I don't know, we didn't do,
We'll do, you'll have a landscaping and irrigation,
Okay, how many? Great,
owners
And then,
training also.
okay,
and then you saw all the valves on the first floor, obviously you need like an 8-foot ladder
okay.
to get to them,
That's two things that I gotta buy from you.
so you might wanna have an 8-foot ladder
Right.
close.
Right, right, right. Okay.
And that should, I think that's everything.
Yep. Plumbing wise.
Okay.
Fair enough.
Okay.
Oh, come easy, once. This is a twin drain, so if you want to shut the sprinkler system down, it's got a valve on the inside and all the water's just going to
Okay,
shoot
so
out
it
here.
just drained to the street, and then that's some,
That's a relief for the regulator on the gas for the boiler.
okay,
That just lets any excess pressure off outside the building.
all right.
Yeah, he was mentioning that those things are gonna disappear soon from the
Well,
rip-off.
okay, if we think,
Can
will
it be
these,
covered?
do you think these will be stone, or?
That's what I,
We need to
I've
do
heard.
If you lose power, and this was tested when they did the flow capacity test, this will automatically kick over to the generator.
This,
This stuff, right? Perfect. Because I know, I do Coal Hall, if I ever have to shut this down, I shut my backup generator down first, then this. Otherwise, if I shut this down first, the generator's gonna notice the loss of
so
power.
they do it
Transfer
themselves.
switch.
This is for the generator control and power.
This is basically your electrical power, this is transfer switch for the generator.
So they do it themselves, you don't have to touch it?
No.
Okay, great,
Automatic.
yeah. And those buttons, they're red, green, and clear.
Stop, your start button, stop button, and then phase reversal.
Would there be any reason for any of us to come down and manipulate any of those buttons?
Well, the thing I'm gonna have to find out is NFPA code states that the fire pump shall be run once a week.
Ah, okay, so that's kind of stuff I'm looking for. What do we need? to do?
That, they recommend, depending on the insurance company or whatever, sometimes you're running it once a week and you gotta call your alarm company, you gotta disconnect the fire panel.
Yeah.
Sometimes they only want it done once a month.
Okay.
And just to keep record of it, to make sure everything's.
And with everything else, we're getting a notebook, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Do we get a plumbing notebook? Is there such a thing? Oh, we do.
Yeah, we get as-bills for every trade.
That's good. Okay, what else?
You wanna see the shut-off valves just for the elevator machine room, that's it?
Yeah, let's go to that. And then while we're doing that, then we can go.
Then we can go down the hall and look at that.
Yeah, because we're gonna go, there's the two elevators, the same setup, so
Yeah.
we'll go to the elevator number 1, and then we'll go,
Okay. Because what I'd like to do is, we're actually pretty much on track. If we can wrap this up in 5 minutes, we're on track.
yeah.
That's fine.
Okay, let's go do it. Okay. And what's down the pit? Do we have some more of those fire, is it,
One sprinkler head down, right below the elevator pit. You've got this one here, and then there's another one for the elevator machine room right here.
Okay. Does this elevate, oh, this just, this.
That's just a pit.
Okay.
And then you've got the one here
For the room.
for the room itself, and there's the code number on for the fire panel, they marked it on.
Okay.
Great.
Okay.
Remember where they, back on elevator
Now, there's two sets of elevators here, right?
Yeah.
So there should be the same thing on the other one.
We looked at those yesterday.
A resident to open one of those up instead of messing with it or something?
Well, you know, we'll deal with that by security camera, because we can't lock everything up, so,
Yeah.
Okay.
yeah.
And that's just, these all, like I said, again, come in as troubles, not as a full-blown alarm.
Yeah.
It'll just signal trouble.
That'll be part of our orientation is, please don't mess with any of the valves or stuff. Okay. All right, well.
That, at the far west corner, that's not, what do they call that, a switch panel or something? That's not their
Primary switches.
primary switches. So it's like a disconnect switch there, sort of.
Right, they can turn power off to the building
Yeah.
inside that cabin.
So then from there it feeds, basically almost following very close to the same route that the gas line goes,
Okay.
into the transformer that's right here,
Okay.
right by the generator. There's,
Hey Scott, can you do me a favor? Yeah. Run up to room 344, and they said there's a broken socket on the bathroom vanity light, just take a look at it. Yeah. 344? Yeah.
so this is the main transformer for
Okay.
the building.
Okay.
And there's
This
also,
one's just for the apartments,
Just for the apartment.
and this office part here.
Okay.
There's another one down there, which is gonna take care of the 2 commercial spaces.
Okay.
there's a little smaller one
It's a
in
little
the
smaller down there.
garden area.
Yeah.
And then, so everything from this point goes underground into electric.
Okay.
Transformer comes into this piece right here. That feeds these 2 pieces. And these are 6 of the 7 mains in the building. These all tagged. This is like your life safety. This is this little panel right here. This one is that panel right there. This bottom one here is 2nd floor, south end. This one here is that big transfer switch in the panel right next to it that controls that panel. So if the generator comes on, it generates that panel. This one here is the panels on the north end of the building, feeding the north end. This meter over here is for the fire pump, it's separately metered. It cannot be shut off unless somebody goes into that room and shuts that red cabinet off. If somebody shuts that red cabinet off, you'll get a supervisory on your fire alarm panel saying power loss. And it's also on the generator. That's it for down here.
Cool. That was easy. Okay, as building manager, what do I want to know about this space? Is there anything I'll need to do?
Only if you have, somebody has a problem with a trip breaker or something like these, there's 15 breakers here. These ones with the yellow tags right here on them,
Right.
these are for the 15 apartments on the first floor.
Ah, okay.
They'll all be tagged 101, 102, 103, however order we got them.
Okay.
And these bottom ones here are the feeds for these 3 panels right here.
Okay.
Which will be all your
Are
general
they
power
gonna
on
be
this
labeled
floor.
by floor and by room?
They'll be
or-
labeled by room 101, 102, 103, 104.
So if one individual doesn't have any electricity,
Right, if this whole apartment is out, you're
the
gonna wanna
first
come
place
in
to
here
look
and
is
check
for
and
the
see.
fuse box, just like at home, isn't it?
Right,
Room numbers.
or check the main in there, check the main breaker in their apartment, make sure that didn't trip.
You got the room numbers up on the rooms
Thought.
soon.
Well, yeah, that's one thing,
This here,
too, if you wanna switch those around, probably better let them know before they label.
this here is your lighting contact for your light poles in the parking lot, the boiler lights out here, and also these new sconces they put on the walls.
Oh, yeah.
They all come into here.
Is that on a photocell or?
It's on a photocell right outside the wall there where that pipe goes out. And if somebody has to come service, they don't have to go out and cover the photo, find a photocell, cover it, just tell them, we'll flip that switch and all them lights will come on so they can find out which ones are bad or.
Okay.
You were
So
gonna-
A
now-
lot of times they
Floodlight
end up putting a
too,
photocell on a roof, and then you gotta climb all the way up to the roof and tape it off.
Okay, so that just turns them off.
Yeah, you can just turn that switch on and all them lights will come on.
Perfect. And now, right now, they're all on the photocell,
Right
right?
now, they're all on the photocell, yes.
For quite a while, they were just.
Right there, just running
All right.
all the time.
Your floodlights for your flag was one of those ideas that was floated around the street,
We got that covered. Yep.
so that would be in that box too then, somewhere.
Yeah, I'm sure
That's
that,
right.
it's on the same circuit.
But that's what feeds this panel right here. And these are all the feeds for the apartments on this floor, on the south end part of this east wing.
Okay, and there's another panel in the other
So,
one.
exactly the same as this one.
Okay, and that'll be on each floor.
And then they get smaller as you go up. Because this here, this breaker will feed the third floor right above us. And this breaker feeds the fourth floor.
Got it.
And the panel just gets a little bit smaller.
Okay,
And you got your one life safety panel, 2XC. And then the other generator panel, 2XD for just normal load
and these
stuff.
come from the generator.
Those come from that big, this one comes from the little transfer switch.
Yep,
And this one comes from the larger one.
okay,
That one is actually fed from 2XA down at the other end. That gets fed from the small one and we feed down to here.
okay. Cool.
And that's it for this room.
What do we got going on over here?
This is just a J box going from floor to floor because all these, like we had to get some of these generator circuits up to the fourth floor, some down to the first floor.
Okay.
And some of there's another panel on the third floor.
Okay.
It's just a general panel. It's not on a generator or nothing, just a general for like the general lighting and general receptacles. So we had to get from that, we had to get service from there down to here and up to the fourth floor
Makes
too.
sense to me. What do I need to know about that switch there? Is that for the air conditioner?
That's just the disconnect for that unit right there,
Okay,
that heat pump.
got it. Oh, heat pump, yeah.
Right.
Okay,
So if
good.
that gets shut off, it's not gonna work.
Right.
These are all gonna be labeled then by room?
I'll have these all labeled by room, I just gotta wait till we get the tags in.
So there's one of these boxes for every heat pump then, huh?
Yes.
Right, there's a disconnect to every single heat pump.
Okay.
And you got 6 heat pumps on the upper floors.
So when I'm running around the building, I see one of those, I'll know what it is.
Right.
Okay.
The ones on the first floor are all gonna be above the ceiling. You won't see them.
Ah, okay.
And
That's
you didn't want somebody's, you didn't want to disconnect in somebody's office.
second, third, and fourth, they'll be in here.
They'll be in
They're
this
all
room
in-
here.
all in this room.
But on the first floor, they're all mounted
These are all
above the
for the
ceilings.
quarters.
Right.
Right.
Okay.
Is
Cool.
a heat pump like a fan where you're trying to just blow the heat around? Or
Uh,
what,
it's
what
more like
is,
a little
what's the
different.
purpose of it?
Heat pump is like a refrigerator. Or uses
For cooling?
condensing of refrigerant, where it'll take suck the heat out of one part and expel it out the other way, or reverse the cycle.
So
and
it's the
sucks
opposite of
it.
a heater, it's more of a cooler.
It
It
can
does
be,
both.
it does
Either
both.
one
It
does
just,
both.
it just,
Temperature
sucks
regulator
the heat
kind of
suck.
thing, yeah.
Yeah, it just
It's
sucks heat out
it's a
of
heat
'cause
suck.
this right here,
It sucks.
yeah.
Yeah.
This right here ties into your, the
Thermal?
geothermal field,
Yeah,
and then the heat pumps actually,
okay.
they-
So that comes into play in the winter.
Yeah.
We want heat.
yeah,
Okay.
Just kind of makes it more efficient then.
yeah.
All right. Well, that's
And these
super.
are for this floor and what the third and the fourth floor?
This
or
is just for this, these
just for
ones
the-
here are just for this floor.
This floor, and these two
These
distribute to
feed
Big
the other
circuit
floor.
breakers, but
They go up, feed a panel just like this, except
All
it's
right.
only about this
you
big.
could just cover 2 floors quickly, just right there.
Right, if you turn them
If-
two off, the
if
third and
necessary.
fourth floor wouldn't have power on this end of the building.
Okay,
Cut them off.
I like it. Thank you, sir.
Yep. Did you wanna go look at the NAC panel, just so you know what it looks like?
Sure. NAC, that's an acronym, right?
Yeah. I don't
What's
know.
the stand for?
I don't know that. Takes a beat key, the beat key will open anything they got in this building for this
Okay,
simplex
so
stuff.
there's one in each,
There's one on each floor, second, third, and fourth on this
Okay.
end, right about the same spot.
and the only reason it's here is so that it's not down there.
Yeah, and when you have to take all these circuits down, all the way down to the first floor.
Got it, so this is
We
down
just had to
there.
pull like one
This is
wire
a
up here.
divider. One wire comes in, many come out.
Right.
Okay, gotcha. Very
You got the
cool,
same thing on this end with the large panel and the two panels next to it.
very cool. Now I understand the system. This is great. Yeah, because I wanted my maintenance guys here, but they had a vital task they had to go perform, so.
Right, well, like I said, I got a CD for you,
Perfect.
so you can run them through on the CD afterwards.
Okay.
I mean, for the most part, the people who are sitting here are the ones gonna be first responder to this when something happens
Yeah,
out of it, so I mean, waiting for you to show up to the site or,
yeah.
you know.
And I'll
it's not gonna be-
I'll have a security company here at night and on the weekends and holidays.
Right,
Yeah,
yeah,
we'll
they're
train
gonna
them.
be a first responders on it too,
Right.
so.
Okay,
All right, we all set?
all set.
All right, this is your Simplex 4010 panel. And it says right here, this is the model number. This is only probably important to you when you talk to either myself or somebody else in the middle of the night who's on call. Because that's one of my first questions when I get a call in the middle of the night is, what kind of panel do you have? What model is it? Tells you right on the front. Then I know what I'm talking about, what buttons are where, and I can have you walk through, you know, over the phone with me so I got an idea what's going on. This Simplex B key, you should have several of them. You get them all their keys,
They haven't got them yet, no.
okay? One key fits everything, with the exception of the door to the annunciator. Fits your pull stations, fits this panel here, fits your NAC panels, which are up on the other floors
Okay.
in there, which you pretty much won't even see for the most part.
Okay,
On the inside of the door are the instructions. How to acknowledge, how to silence, and how to reset. So if you forget everything and you lose your CD, it's on the door here. And generally what I tell people, the easiest thing to remember is the panel's making noise, one of these lights are on and it's beeping at you, push the button underneath the light that's blinking. That's the easiest thing right off. First one on here is your alarm acknowledge, it comes in red. That's the easy one, horns and strobes are going off and people are back in the building, or should be at that point. Your second one is the supervisory acknowledge. It only enunciates here with the piezoid, making a beeping noise. That's associated to your sprinkler system. All the valves are being monitored, so if somebody goes in and closes a valve on it, we're gonna know it here at the panel. That's your indication somebody's tampering with your system. And we also have them at the elevators. And you see the little box on the wall over there.
Okay, so if somebody went in there and screwed with that, it would.
It'll enunciate right here.
Sorry, guys.
If they turn the water on or turn the water off at a
If they
tap,
start closing the valve on it, we're gonna know it. This is not on a tap, this is on your sprinkler system
Okay.
for
Sprinkler,
your fire
oh, okay.
sprinklers.
Remember the couple
uh-huh,
things for the pit and the machinery?
Because the last thing you want is a valve close, fire happens, sprinkler head will pop, and no water come out on it. The next one over is the trouble acknowledge. Troubles will come in, and I'll show you in a minute. We got batteries on each of the panels for backup. You have your generator for backup. There's also battery backup on our panels. So eventually, with a period of time, the batteries will start to deplete. If they get to a certain point, it'll come up in here as a trouble, and I'll show you here in a minute on there. And all you do is just come up again, push the button, acknowledge it, read the display. And everything's gonna be on the display for you. It's pretty simple system to deal with. If you have to get inside the cover, just pull it off right here. And inside, basically we got our electronics, which you're not gonna mess with, but these are the backup batteries. Okay, so like I said, at some point, if the batteries start to deplete, on it, and we'll just disconnect them here. It'll take a few minutes or seconds for it to sense the batteries. The panel is always checking the charge on the batteries. It's constantly checking in there. If he sees the batteries are low, he'll start to charge the batteries back up again on it. Like I said, when it's disconnected, we'll get the trouble on the panel for it. Other things that we have in the way of troubles, and that's our battery depleted disconnect come in on it. And it tells you right up here, if you look at the display, battery depleted disconnect. Acknowledge it, shuts that little piezoid off on there. With our systems, once he senses the trouble is normal again, the trouble goes away. So you can push alarm, silence all you want to shut this guy up, he won't stop until you acknowledge whatever it is. You can hit reset all day long. Reset will not clear a trouble on our panel. Trouble has to be cleared. If you had people in the building working, got into some of our wiring, cut through, create an open circuit, it's going to enunciate here at the panel as a trouble. Until that circuit's complete again, the trouble remains on the panel. This will re-enunciate the trouble to you the next morning. No, take that back. Every 8 hours, it's going to enunciate to you. You've got a problem. That's your indication. I need to be fixed.
It won't let us ignore it.
Right. So when the guard's sitting here and he's getting up in the middle of the night, acknowledge it, next guy comes in, and he's going to re-enunciate to it, he's going to come over and acknowledge it, it's your indication to get it fixed at that point. Smoke detectors, we have several through the building. When they start to get dirty, and they will over a period of time, the panel senses it. First thing comes up on the panel, it'll give you a location of the smoke detector, and it'll say on the bottom line, bottom right corner, it'll say dirty. At that point, we need to get it cleaned.
Okay.
And that's pretty simple. You can take some compressed air and blow through it. 9 times out of 10, that'll clear it.
Great.
If it doesn't get cleaned soon enough, and it picks up more dust, the next step is excessively dirty. You're getting another chance at this. After that, if you don't do something about it, the next step is he's gonna trip general alarm.
And the third step is the bomb goes off on the roof.
You're back in the building for it.
Yeah.
Oh, your generator bits.
There are times where if you put enough dust into one of the heads,